Our next meeting we expect will be by Zoom again in May, but we don't have an exact date. One of our members is working on getting one of the physicians to speak, but it's just still up in the air with details. So we'll let you know more once we have them. And their Walk of Champions is going to be on Sunday, September 11th. And at this point in time, we don't know if it'll be virtual or in person. It'd be really nice to be in person. And also, we did raise over $100,000 for the 2021 walk, which was virtual, so it's pretty good. Yeah. And the website will be open soon, and we'll let you know about that as well.
Great.
Okay.
Okay. So I will now, with great pleasure, introduce our speaker for this evening. Lisa Spriet is a registered dietitian and co-owner of NutriProCan, which is a company of registered dietitians. We had sent out her bio, so that came out in the invite, so I'm not just going to read it verbatim, but Lisa has presented to our London Myeloma group before. So we're excited to have her back, and this is certainly my first viewing of her presentation, so I'm very excited. So if we can all welcome Lisa, and as I've said, we can all go into mute and stop video for the presentation. That would be helpful. Thanks, Lisa. Here we go.
But I think I've got it going now. So welcome everybody. It's good to see some familiar names and some new names on here as well. I will be going through some things that I spoke about last time. I think it's always good to revisit those things. And then there'll be some new information as well. And there's going to be an opportunity where I ask for you to speak up too and let me know what areas you're kind of interested in. So yes, thank you for the intro, and I know you all have my bio. I will also mention I'm just back from maternity leave, and my husband is doing the evening shift tonight, which he's not always used to doing. So if you hear some baby crying in the background, I apologize in advance, but let's dive in. So what I want to get started with today is kind of the basics of really what's nourishing for every single body. No matter what your health goals are, this is kind of what everybody needs to do. And I want to reiterate that we are all still human, no matter what's going on inside of our bodies. And we still have some basic needs that we need to make sure that we're meeting. I want to know what some of your common concerns are. We're also going to talk about GERD and digestive disorders and a few other things as those have come up as areas of interest. And then we're going to go through an example day with some recipes. I don't know if anybody else in this group has been part of Wellspring activities at all. We while they were running, we ran some Wellspring Nourish programs in London, which were amazing. They were some cooking classes and nutrition classes that we did in London. They haven't gotten up and running again yet, but we've gotten permission to share some of the wonderful recipes. So I have a few recipes that we'll send out with the presentation today. And if there's a couple other that seem like they might fit in from your questions, then I'll include those too, but I've included some of my favorites. So how to make the most of this presentation. Think for you, we're going to go through a lot of information. I want you to think what's working for you and what isn't working for you. If you've got something really good going, keep it, but maybe there's a few things that aren't really working for you in terms of your nutrition regime. And let's try to think of maybe how we could change those things. I also want you to think of what your specific goals are. So is it that you want to improve digestive health? Is it that you just want to have more energy or prevent future disease? So think about what your specific goals are. And then what are some small steps that you can incorporate now? So what are some things that you can start doing maybe tonight or tomorrow? And then what are some things that you would like to do that maybe will set for goals in the future? Ask questions, and then I work with a great team of dietitians. A lot of them do have experience in cancer care and just overall health, digestive health, blood sugar health. So come in for a one-on-one session. By come in, I mean virtually come in. We're all still working virtually, I think, like the rest of the world. Okay, so let's get into the basics of good nutrition for everybody. So this is what I really want you to have. If you want to take this slide and stick it on your fridge tomorrow, you're welcome to. These are the basics that we really want to get into. So number one, are you hydrating with at least 2 liters of water per day? This is really important to help your body with dealing with medications. Sometimes from some side effects from the medications, you will get mouth sores, mouth issues, dry mouth. Hydrating is going to help with that. It's also going to help with energy. It's going to help you with your immune system. So minimum 2 liters. If you can go up from there, that's wonderful. And a quick and easy way to kind of get this in is 2 cups or 500 mils upon waking, another 200 before lunch, another 200 before dinner, and then, 2 cups or 500 mils, and then another cup or 250 mils before each snack. And if you're having a couple snacks per day, that should get you up to 2 liters. Are you eating at least 3 regular meals per day? So yes, snacks can be important, but to start with, let's start with 3 regular meals. I'm not going to say they have to be any particular time of the day, and I'm not going to say that they have to be necessarily breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but 3 regular meals. Are you getting in a variety of whole vegetables and fruits every day? We're looking for 5 to 7 servings. If you're struggling with that, soups and stews are great ways to sneak them in. You can also put them into smoothies as well. Are you eating a good source of protein at your meals? And we're going to be talking about protein in a few different circumstances. So protein's really good for your immune system. It's also good for balancing blood sugar levels. Really important for you to be getting in. Now, this doesn't mean you need to eat meat at every meal. We'll look at some more options for that too. Are you eating healthy fats? So these are monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. So these are things like olive oil and avocado and nuts and seeds and fatty fish. So you should be getting in those fats at most, if not every meal and snack. And then are you doing more things homemade or minimally processed? I know homemade can be a little bit of an issue if you have really low energy levels. Maybe you can ask a neighbor or somebody to help out to make some food for you. At least looking for minimally processed. So maybe that just means going to the grocery store and picking up a pre-made salad and pre-cooked chicken. That's a lot better than, say, fast food. Other things that we want to look at that are really important for a healthy body beyond just nutrition, being active every day, preferably getting outside. And there's so much evidence to support getting outside for immune health, for mental health. So do what you can. Try to start your day with at least something, whether it's stretching, just try to move your body if you can every day. Get adequate sleep. Really, this affects our nutrition intake on multiple levels. It affects how our body deals with the nutrients that we consume as well. So do your best. And then try to find activities to help reduce stress or anxiety. I know having a disease can really increase your stress and anxiety. And the last 2 years in itself have really increased people's stress and anxiety. So if you're not already doing something like some mindfulness, some yoga, some meditation, really try to incorporate that into your day. It's going to help. Talking to others, having this group is really going to help. I'm going to check out the chat just right now, just to see what's going on, but I'll probably answer questions later. Okay, great. Good questions. We are going to get to those. We're definitely going to talk about energy. Okay, so number 1, choose water. Really important for kidney function, and due to some medications, you can have decreased kidney function. There's no added sodium, sugar, or calories, or saturated fat, which are things that we want to stay away from. Not necessarily calories, but sodium, sugar, saturated fat, we definitely want to limit. And it is one of the 7 essential nutrients. I've also put this picture here of some cucumber and lemon slices in water. If you're finding water has an off taste, sometimes medications can make it have a metallic taste. Adding some flavor that way can help. Definitely sip on it throughout the day. using food as fuel. So this is a term that I bring up quite often. And it's a mindset. So it's not just a to-do list, it's a mindset. So what I want you to think about as you're going through your day is not just, oh, I need to eat something. Somebody said I need to eat, or I feel like eating, or I'm used to eating this. This is what I'm going to eat. I want you to think about what your goals are, and I want you to think about fueling your body, giving it the nutrients that it needs to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So if you want to have more energy, if you want to improve your immune system, I want you to think about that with every meal. So number one, balance your plate. So this is a simple and effective way of just making sure that you're having balanced meals and getting in the nutrients that you need. It's in fact what Canada's Food Guide is now. We've been talking about the healthy balanced plate for a long time, but now Canada's Food Guide is a healthy balanced plate. So what is it? So basically you're dividing your plate into 3 sections, where 1/2 of it, or about 2 cups, would be your vegetables. Now, if you're doing this for breakfast, maybe you want to make that fruit, but about half your plate. And then about 1/4 of protein, or about the size of your palm, or 3/4 of a cup. So this doesn't need to be meat. It could be eggs. It could be beans like lentils and chickpeas. And I've got some recipes for those as well. It could be tofu. And then 1/4 as, that should be healthy starch or whole grain. So about 1/2 to 1 cup. So if you maybe are looking at cutting back on your weight, or you don't need a lot of energy in the day, go for 1/2 cup. If you do need more energy throughout your day, go for 1 cup. Now I will note that for those who maybe need to gain some more weight and have really low appetite, you can reduce the vegetable portion of your plate and focus on your protein and healthy starches or whole grains. But then as you get towards your healthy weight, try adding more fruits and vegetables into your meals. The purpose of snacks are to help give your body nutrients, and then also keep you from getting too hungry between meals. So snacks are not an excuse to have a donut. If you want to have a donut, but that is not a snack. That is a donut. So healthy balanced snacks, again, we're looking for pairing together nutrients like your proteins and your vegetables and fruits and your healthy grains or starches. It helps to carry from meal to meal. It can keep your energy levels up and prevent you from overeating at your next meal. Sometimes if we go too long between meals, we get over hungry and then we overeat at our next meal. Again, there's nothing the matter with having a donut, but just don't use it as your snack. Have maybe some Greek yogurt and berries, and then if you want some Timbits, have some Timbits. So this is just a visual of it, if you're a visual person. So here, 1/2 of fruits and vegetables. Again, more fruits at breakfast, vegetables at lunch and dinner. 1/4 of your protein, so tempeh, tofu, fish, eggs, low-fat yogurt, nuts and legumes, so it doesn't have to be meat. And then 1/4 as your whole grain or starch, so things like whole grain bread, whole grain pasta, bulgur, quinoa, great things like that, which are going to give you some energy, time-released energy, and some essential nutrients and B vitamins too. And then healthy snacks. So here we're looking at, again, combining something with carbohydrates, so your starches, your fruits, your vegetables, with something with some protein for longer lasting energy. So that's where we have those nuts there. So I love the idea of making these little snack packs and keeping them in your fridge, especially for times of low energy. If you're heading out of the house, you can grab them and bring them with you. And they just look so pretty. I'm very much the type that if I just have a big cucumber sitting in my fridge, or a head of celery sitting in my fridge, I'm probably not going to eat it. But if I slice it up and put it into these packs, then I'll definitely eat it. Kids are the same way. For anybody who does have children, if it's sliced and ready to go, they're probably more likely to eat it. So here are some of my favorite combos for snacks, and we'll look at some meals as well. So a piece of fruit, any fruit. Fresh is probably best, but dried can be good too, not fried. With like just a few almonds, you don't need to do a ton. They're great, but they are calorically dense for people who are watching their overall energy intake. Or some part skim cheese, which is good for your calcium and vitamin D, which we will talk about as well. a 1/2 to 1 cup of raw veggies with some hummus, a granola bar, 5-5-10 rule. Okay, 5-5-10 rule. More than 5 grams of protein, more than 5 grams of fiber, less than 10 grams of sugar. Cashew bar, I think, has some out there like that. There's also kind of the protein bars, like Simply protein bars that follow that rule as well. So again, more than 5 grams of protein, more than 5 grams of fiber, less than 10 grams of sugar is what we're looking for. Plain yogurt or plain Greek yogurt with some bran buds for extra fiber, or some ground flax seeds. You can sprinkle some berries on top too if you like that. Fresh fruit with yogurt, or a light, so just a little bit lower fat Baby Bell cheese round. That's really easy to pack with you as well. If you are into coffee, you could do a tall non-fat or low-fat plain latte or soy latte. Those are great to do as well. If you are sensitive to caffeine, definitely go for decaf. I would say always do decaf afternoon. If you do it past 12 p.m., for most people, it's going to affect your sleep. And too much caffeine can have a negative effect on your bone. So just be careful. 2 cups of coffee per day is fine. Beyond that, not so good for your bones. Some Ribena crackers. These are my favorite whole grain crackers. There's some different ones out there, like Thin Crisps are great too, with some natural peanut butter or almond butter. Water packed tuna or canned salmon, if you like it, with some Triscuits. I love this little salad with chickpeas. Oh, I don't know what happened with the smaller font there. Chopped tomatoes and cucumbers with some Italian dressing made from olive oil base. And then in terms of, if you want a grocery shopping list for all of your meals and snacks, this is it. So what our goal is here is sustained energy. So I know low energy is a really, really big issue. And quite often we look to things like, okay, I'm going to grab some sugar, I'm going to grab some fruit, something quick that'll give me energy. What we really want to focus on is sustained energy. So we want to pair together things that are on the left hand of that screen, so our whole grains, fruits, and vegetables, with things that are on the right hand of our screen there, the protein and healthy fats. And again, if you're looking for a go-to list, this would be my absolute list. So in terms of whole grains, oats are wonderful. They're easy to cook up. Make a big batch and reheat them for breakfast. I've especially done that with having a little baby, that sometimes just even making oatmeal in the morning is a struggle. So I make up a big batch and I add some fruit to it, and sometimes some pumpkin, which for anybody who is having digestive health issues, pumpkin's great to add. And just reheat that. Put a scoop of Greek yogurt on top and it's a great breakfast. Quinoa, again, you can recook, or you can reheat that if you want to cook some up. Whole grain bread, I like stone mill, Ezekiel bread. Those are some of my favorites. Brown or wild rice. And then fruits and vegetables. Hey, I'm going to be happy if you're eating basically any fruits and vegetables. They're all good to me, but these would be some key ones that I would say to pick up every week. So leafy greens, fresh or frozen. So things like spinach, kale, whatever you like. Mixed berries, fresh or frozen. This time of year, probably frozen is best. Carrots and broccoli, orange vegetables and green vegetables. I always think that in a day, you want to get orange vegetables and green vegetables in a day. These are 2 of my favorites. For protein sources, lentils or legumes. So things like no salt added canned beans, great source of protein, great source of B vitamins, great source of fiber for those who need more fiber. So you don't have to necessarily eat meat protein. Lean poultry, so chicken, ground turkey. Those are easy to put into soups and stews. Low-fat plain yogurt or Greek yogurt or skyr or skyr, I'm not sure how to say it. And eggs are really great to do, hard-boiled a bunch, and then you have them going for the week. Healthy fats, avocado, again, fresh or frozen. Salmon, trout, Arctic char. Flax, ground flax, whole flax that you can grind, either of those work. Olive oil and walnuts. If you're buying walnuts and you're not going to eat them right away, you should keep them in the freezer. So this is my grocery list for you guys for this weekend. Okay, specific nutrients for immune function, which is important all the time. But I know more people have been mindful of this, whether it's due to multiple myeloma or COVID. So vitamin A or beta carotene. Beta carotene is the precursor to vitamin A, or meaning your body makes it into vitamin A. So it's needed for skin health and production of immune cells. It also has an anti-inflammatory effect, which can help enhance immune function. So going back to our list here, you're going to get your beta carotene and carotenoids from those leafy greens and carrots and broccoli. Orange vegetables are a really good source. Vitamin C, it's a very powerful antioxidant and it contributes to immune defense. It's really one of the biggest supporters of our immune system. So back to this list again, mixed berries. Also, if you are a fan of red peppers, really good source of vitamin C. Vitamin E, again, an antioxidant. And how it contributes to immune health is it basically keeps our immune system cells healthy. So we can get cellular damage or oxidative damage just from our environment, but also sometimes from medications. And vitamin E helps to keep our cells nice and healthy. So back to our list here, we get vitamin E from fat-containing foods. So we get vitamin E from avocado, from walnuts, from flax. Actually, you get some in whole grains, I will mention as well, more so than processed grains. So whole grain bread, part of the grain itself, you'll get a little bit of vitamin E. Vitamin D, this helps in the production of immune system cells. This is maybe one of the most important vitamins out there. Super duper important. We will talk about supplementation. In terms of sources from our list here, fatty fish, eggs, and your yogurt, your dairy on there. Zinc, it plays a really important role in immune function. It's really part of an antioxidant enzyme system. You don't need to know that, but it does help to boost white blood cells, which is very important in multiple myeloma. Helps to reduce the duration of cold. So back to our list, our protein sources. So specifically lentils and legumes and lean poultry are really good sources of zinc. Again, whole grains as opposed to processed grains, you'll be getting more zinc in there as well. And then protein. Protein. I know I've mentioned this a few times. It's really important for our immune system. And we get them from the protein group there. So lentils, legumes, lean poultry, low-fat plain yogurt, and eggs. I do want to point out food safety, just a few things on this. Because you do have, for the most part, probably a depressed immune system, you are at greater risk of foodborne illness. I will say, oh, confession time. I had my daughter a month early because I got food poisoning. So this is definitely something that I'm really, really telling a lot of people about. And I thought I was so safe or so careful. So things that we need to be aware of are undercooked or runny eggs. So no runny yolks. They need to be fully cooked. Soft cheeses. So things like brie, any unprocessed cheeses, even be careful with some goat cheeses. Really the harder cheeses are safer for you to do, as well as unpasteurized honey is not good to do. Rare or undercooked meats. So ordering your hamburger or your steak rare is not a good idea. Sushi is not a great idea unless it's just the vegetarian sushi. That goes for raw seafood as well. General rule of thumb is this is a little bit extra cautious. For some of the meats, you don't have to go quite this high, but I would get a good thermometer and cook all your proteins, so chicken, fish, things like that, to 180 Fahrenheit. They also need to be reheated to that temperature if you're cooking them and then reusing them. Both thaw and cool foods in the fridge. So if you're thawing out chicken from the freezer, it needs to thaw in the fridge, put it in the fridge a few days before. If you've just made a big pot of chili, you need to put it into small containers and put it in the fridge right away, not let it cool on the counter. Make sure that you're labeling all leftovers and that you use them in a timely manner. There's some really great resources on the Middlesex London Health Unit. If you just Google Middlesex London Health Unit, food safety, they'll give you a whole list of some additional things and also how long you can store certain foods for. Overall foods that we want to try to limit in our diet for overall health, again, processed meats. This includes deli meats like turkey meat. And in fact, you are at greater risk of foodborne illness with deli meat, whether it's turkey meat or chicken meat. It needs to be reheated if you are going to have it. So to me, just cook up a bunch of chicken breasts, slice those up, reheat them and use them for sandwiches. High sodium or high salt foods. So choose foods with no added salt. Instead of just reduced sodium, and then look on the food label for less than 5% of your daily value per serving. High sugar foods, choose unsweetened or no added sugar. So even natural sugars like sweetened with natural fruit juice or sweetened with honey, it's still sugar to our diet. And then again, now we have this percent daily value on our food label. So look for that less than 5% daily value for sugar per serving. Highly processed foods, things that come in packages. So do your best to buy things that don't come in packages. So your whole fruits and vegetables. You can even go to the bulk barn and get dried lentils and make them that way. So really try to limit packages. This is going to help to limit your processed food as well as a little bit better for the environment. And then fried foods, baked, poached, braised, whatever it is, baked, that's a little bit better to do than fried. Okay, so this is where I do want people to come in. I have a whole list of things that I want to talk about, and I'll go to the chat as well. And I want people to come on if you want and let me know what your concerns are. Show your cravings, we'll get to that. Okay, I'll get to some of these questions at the end, but if anybody wants to come on and tell me what your number one concerns are, we're definitely going to talk about energy as well. Okay, I am just going to go through some of the ones that I have, and people, if you come up with other ones as we go, let me know and we can talk about them at the end. So some common side effects and the nutrition therapy to address them. So weight loss. So really our goal throughout treatment is no more than 5% of your initial body weight is body weight loss. If you lose a few pounds, it's not that big of a deal, but we're trying to prevent that less than 5%. Really the healthy body mass index is 18.5 to 24.9. We definitely don't want to go below 18.5. That puts your body and your bones at risk. What can we do? Have small meals and snacks often. So if it's overwhelming to think of having a whole meal, have maybe 5 or 6 snack meals throughout the day. Find the best time of day for you. So if you find you have more energy in the morning, you've got a bit of an appetite, then try to get most of your food in the morning and maybe have more snacks later on in the day. Liquid nutrition, smoothies can be a really great thing to do. Smoothies, soups and stews, really, really good to do. If you need to do some juice, as long as you're not diabetic, that's a good way of getting in some extra calories too. Fortified foods with skim milk powder, easy to pick up. You can put that into cream-based soups. You can put it into your yogurt. That's actually how they make a lot of Greek yogurts. They just add more skim milk powder into them. So you can really beef up your own yogurt. You can put it into smoothies. Lots of ways you can do it. If you're a pudding person, you can stir some more into pudding. Protein powder, whether it's vegan or whey. Avocado is great to put into things, and nut butters as well. There's a recipe that I'm going to share with you It sounds a little crazy, but it's really good. It's a sweet potato stew that actually has peanut butter in it. So that's a great way to get some more calories into you. And then eat your favorite foods all of the time. So I relate this again to when I was pregnant. I loved that mixture that I mentioned to you about the oats and the pumpkin. I ate that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner when I felt sick. And that's okay to do. If you are a breakfast person and you want to eat that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, go for it. If you're more of like, if you really like, you know, chicken and rice and you want to have that for breakfast, go for it. Ask for help with food preparation or pick up some prepared foods to have on hand. So really reach out, use those around you, order food from the grocery store that you can just pick up. Yeah, there's a lot of resources out there now to help with that. Fatigue. So I think this is one of the most common side effects that I hear from people. Yeah, it is definitely a huge side effect of treatment. So number one thing, and most of you are having your blood levels checked quite often. So check for anemia, so iron or B12, or folate. Make sure you're having these levels measured, and then supplement only if required. So your team should talk to you about that, and if it's needed, then you should supplement. Good sources that I think everybody should probably includes meat, and even chicken and turkey are pretty good. Legumes and beans and leafy greens. So meat, chicken, turkey, they have something called heme protein in them. Heme iron in them. And that type of iron is more readily absorbable than, say, legumes, beans, and leafy greens. However, if you pair some of the meat, so say you did something like a bit of turkey with some black beans and spinach, you'd actually absorb the iron from legumes and the spinach better than if they were just on their own. A little bit of vitamin C can help with that as well. Eat small meals throughout the day. Sometimes big meals in themselves can be very fatiguing. So eat those small meals throughout the day to keep your energy up. Cook batch meals when you have energy. So know that probably you're not going to have energy every meal or every day, that the idea of cooking every day might be a little bit much. So try to, if you know that usually, you know, Sundays are good days or Mondays are good days, try to do some batch cooking those days and have it for lasting throughout the week. Vitamin D is huge, 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 huge. If you can get some sunlight, get some sunlight. I'm guessing most of you have been put on a vitamin D supplement. If you have not, I would talk to your healthcare team potentially about that and having your levels measured. Ask people for help. So ask for meal prep help, grocery shopping help, cleaning help. Really for energy, the meal plan that I have at the end is a great way to increase your energy. But even though it's just those basics that I mentioned at the beginning, that's a really great way to increase your energy levels, making sure you're having those balanced meals. Gastroesophageal reflux disease or heartburn. So this can be a side effect quite often of medication. It can come and go. Some of you might be on medications to help reduce GERD. Even so, there's a lot you can do with your diet. So limiting spicy foods, limiting cocoa or chocolate. So this is even dark chocolate, I'm sorry, but it lowers the integrity of our sphincter that stops stomach content from coming into our esophagus. Caffeine or coffee, so even decaf coffee, we have to limit. High acid foods, so things like tomatoes and citrus. For those in the London area, the Western Fair Market, a few times a year, the one produce stand there has low acid tomatoes. If you are somebody who likes to garden, you can actually buy the low acid tomato seeds and grow your own. And then also mint, we need to limit. So peppermint, spearmint, mint chewing gum needs to be limited as well. Eat small meals and snacks. Stay upright for at least 60 minutes after eating. So try not to eat right before you go to bed. If anything, try to make lunch maybe your biggest meal of the day. Elevate your head at bed at night. So about 30 degrees is what we're looking for. And then consider a probiotic. Talk to your healthcare team though. If you are very immunocompromised, you should not be taking a probiotic. So it really depends on sort of where you are in your process of care, whether you should take one or not. Nausea, start first thing in the day. So you do need to, I know it's hard, keep some crackers next to your bed, and really as soon as you get up, start nibbling on some crackers, some dry food first thing in the morning. Sip on smoothies or pureed soups. If they need to be bland, that's perfectly fine. Have some made and ready to go. So with smoothies, I think if you're going to make a smoothie, make a few batches and then freeze some, and then you can just kind of thaw them, reblend it if you need to. Pureed soups are great, and you can put in things like the skim milk powder, the nut butter into there too for more calories. Have others prepare the food for you. So quite often what I hear is you've got an appetite, you go to make the food, and having the food cooking and smelling it turns you off. And by the time you've made the meal, you no longer want to eat. So maybe look at having others prepare the food for you so that you don't have that smell of it going on. Water can help as well. Just be careful not having too much water. Make sure you have something in your stomach if you are going to be drinking water. Diarrhea. And I hear from quite a few people that they sort of alternate between diarrhea and constipation. So definitely, I think everybody should have something like Pedialyte or even some Gatorade or Gatorade Zero on hand for rehydrating. So it is a huge risk to get depleted in electrolytes. So make sure you have those on hand, that it's not just water that you're rehydrating with at that point. Soup broth also works if you like soup broth. Really try to identify the causes. So some medications can cause temporary lactose intolerance. That's a carbohydrate that we find in dairy products. And you might be able to get it back, and that's perfectly fine, but you might have to eat lactose-free for a little while. And then consume easy to process foods. So low fat and low fiber foods. So things like bananas, plain dairy, maybe lactose-free, eggs or egg whites, things like that, white rice, plain chicken, and potatoes. On the other end, constipation, again, could be due to medication or changes in your diet or decreased physical activity. Those are the main causes I would say that I see. Make sure that you're hydrating often. So we need to make sure that we're flushing our system. Also, as we increase our fiber intake, we actually have to increase our water intake. So it increases our need for hydration. So add some high fiber foods like beans and legumes, also sorts of protein, ground flaxseed, whole grains, oat bran, wheat bran, psyllium, whole vegetables and fruits. Make a smoothie out of some of those things too if you want. And then move, stretch. Really physical activity does help stimulate our bowel movements. Taste changes. This is another really, really big one that I hear. Partly due to the medications. So proper oral care. If you need some help with that, speak up. So making sure that you're brushing your teeth and your tongue often, getting a good mouth rinse. Talk to your doctor about that if you need to get one. Serve foods cold or at room temperature, so not too hot. Add your favorite seasoning or sauces, or serve without seasoning at all. I usually find protein-containing foods are the main issue, so things like chicken and turkey. So if that is an issue, either add your favorite seasoning to it, douse it with barbecue sauce if you need to, or maybe choose some other foods that will give you protein. So those legumes or high protein dairy products. Use plastic cutlery and glass cooking pot, again, to reduce that metallic taste. Add some tart flavors, so things like lemon juice. Again, be careful if you have GERDs, but sometimes tart flavors can help cut through that metallic taste. And then add some sweet flavors, which can usually help overcome any bitter flavors that you're having. Be aware this is also adding calories, which could be a good thing. It could not be a good thing. So maybe adding, a little bit of honey to a glaze for your chicken can help, but just be aware that you're adding additional calories. Dry mouth or mucositis, very similar. Sip on water throughout the day. Soft foods that are lukewarm, so not too hot, not too cold. Avoid citrus, tomatoes, and other high acid foods. They're going to irritate your mouth. Try to suck on a lozenge, which helps with mucus and saliva formation. And then you can look at some medications too. Also, proper oral care is really important. Weight gain, we'll look at the opposite side of this one too. So there's a lot of reasons why this happens. It could be due to decreased physical activity. Quite often, the medications, especially steroid medications, which I know a lot of you are on or have been on, can lead to weight gain. Emotional eating for comfort. This is a really big one, especially through COVID, where we couldn't connect with others quite as well. I'm glad this group is still going. So try to, instead of eating for comfort, try to find other activities, whether it's going for a walk, having a bath, connecting with others. Keep a regular schedule of eating. So try not to skip meals or go too long between meals so you'll get too over hungry. Make at least half your plate those non-starchy vegetables at meals. You can even increase that proportion if you would like. Switch to drinking water instead of juice or pop. Be active as much as you can. And then again, address that emotional eating. So find other ways of nourishing yourself. Reading a good book, FaceTiming people. Now that we're getting out a little bit more, maybe safely getting out with other people. Some other ways of nourishing your body that are not food related. High blood sugar levels, and this quite often goes along with the weight gain. So this can be due to decreased activity, medications, weight gain. A lot of very similar things with managing our weight. So keep a regular schedule of eating. So don't go too long between our meals. We want to have those small regular meals and snacks. Make at least one half of your plate non-starchy vegetables. Really focus on low glycemic carbohydrates for the starch portion. So things like your quinoa, your sweet potatoes, bulgur, those are really good to do. Switch to drinking water instead of juice or pop. Be active when possible. And yeah, focus on those low glycemic carbohydrates, and always make sure that you're having a source of protein at your meals and snacks, which helps to balance out the carbohydrates so you don't get those ups and downs in blood sugar levels. Okay, should you take a supplement? My answer is it depends, and you need to consult with a healthcare practitioner before you do. Vitamin D, for most of you, you should probably be on it, but I'm not the one to tell you that. You need to have your levels measured, and you need to talk to your care team. Iron can be beneficial, but only if you have anemia. If you're not anemic, it can cause more damage than good. Multivitamin, the benefits are really unproven. As long as you're not taking one that has added herbs, that it's really just the minerals and vitamins, it should be generally safe. However, none of them have been tested during treatment. So if you are in active treatment, unless your healthcare team is telling you to take one, I tell just about everybody to discontinue all but essential supplements. Antioxidant supplements, these are definitely a no-go during treatment. There's really no proven benefit, and they might be more detrimental than helpful. Get the antioxidants from your foods, have whole fruits and vegetables, add turmeric, which is curcuma, as much as you can to your foods. Okay, and then we have a sample day. So breakfast, what we're looking for here is your dairy. So calcium, vitamin D, protein. Kefir is a good probiotic. However, be careful if you're immunocompromised. I would say stay away from kefir for right now. Add in the chia and flax for your healthy fats and fiber, and some fresh or frozen berries, antioxidants. I'll give you those recipes for Lily's red lentil soup or African sweet potato stew. That is the one that has the peanut butter in it. It is delicious. A slice of whole grain toast, and then some veggies and hummus on the side. If you're looking to add some more calories, you can add more cream to the soup to get some more calories in that way. Snack, you could do a smoothie or a chocolate pudding with a twist. There's a recipe for it. You'll see what it is. It's tofu, so it adds more protein. If you're looking for more fiber, easily put some more chia or flax in there. And then dinner, some salmon or salmon patties, another recipe with some sweet potato, cinnamon, and turmeric, rapini or any other leafy green with olive oil, garlic, which is very anti-inflammatory as well, and pepper, which helps to increase the absorption of turmeric. Cinnamon's really good for your blood sugar levels too, if you're looking at balancing out your blood sugar levels. These are the recipes that I'm going to send along with this presentation as well. They're some of my favorites, so I hope you like them as well. I'm going to, that's my contact information. I'm going to go to the chat now and start answering questions on here, but if people would like, so you can add some more questions to the chat. Otherwise, you're welcome to unmute yourself as well. So tired and energy, lesions and fractures. So I think we addressed the energy. If you're still quite unsure, please reach out. I have some more suggestions. Vegans, you don't need to have fish or eggs. You can get your protein from tofu, tempeh, beans, and legumes. You can get your omega-3s from those chia, flaxseed, hemp hearts, and walnuts. Minimum 2 liters of water per day. If you're having kidney issues, don't go too much over 3 liters, but 2 to 3 liters is usually what I recommend. The sugar cravings can be from your medication. They can also be from emotional eating. So what I want you to focus on is fueling your body first, making sure that your stomach hunger is quenched. So you're not physically hungry. You're having your regular meals and snacks with your protein, with your carbohydrates, with your fruits or vegetables. And then have some herbal tea after your meals. And then from there, if you're still having a sugar craving, maybe have a bit of dark chocolate, try that chocolate pudding recipe. Have a small amount of something that you're craving, but just make sure that you're keeping your blood sugar levels in check with those regular meals and snacks, and that should be helpful too. Cinnamon can add some nice sweetness without adding sugar as well. I was told no added vitamin C. So definitely not supplementing with vitamin C. I wouldn't recommend supplementing. Tracy, if you want to chat with me maybe afterwards, I'm thinking probably vitamin C from food is okay, but there might be a specific reason due to your care that I don't know about. I don't think supplementing with vitamin C, especially during treatment, really for any reason, would be a good idea. But maybe just clarify it with me afterwards.
Did you, I have a question.
Yes.
So I was also told no supplements of vitamin C.
Yes.
And I was told that as far as I take Revlimid 10 milligrams, but I was specifically told by Revlimid as well as a doctor, no artificial supplements, as well as only multivitamin is allowed, but not to take iron or anything like that, just what I got from the multivitamin.
Absolutely. Yeah. So even with some treatments, some medication, they'll say no multivitamin because of the minerals in there and what it can do, just binding to the medication. So my thing is, it's always safest to take nothing unless you've been diagnosed with a deficiency. Vitamin D is one that if you haven't had your levels checked, I highly, highly, highly recommend you're having your levels checked, and you most likely need to supplement with it. I don't think anybody needs to supplement with vitamin C, especially during treatment. I think herbals are really, really scary to take, especially if you're doing any sort of treatment, even outside of treatment. And I would talk to your doctor, to your pharmacist about a multivitamin, because they're even contraindicated with some medications. And iron, yes, iron only if you're deficient, but if you're currently on a medication that you can't take iron with, even if you're deficient, then they might look at something like an infusion or something like that instead. But definitely focus on foods. Please focus on foods first. No more than 2 cups a day of caffeine. Yeah. So we do have some good evidence that more than 2 cups per day of caffeinated coffee is detrimental to bone health. It increases calcium excretion. Now, some people say, well, I'm having as lattes, so I'm having extra calcium. I would say that's okay. You're going to balance it out, but I would still say no more than 2 cups of caffeinated coffee per day. Air fryer. So we don't have a ton of evidence on that. The main issue with frying is what happens to fats. And with air fryers, you're using less fat. So theoretically, you should have less of those chemical compounds created. I don't have a true answer for you. I would say it adds less fat. It's probably better, but we don't have enough research on it yet to say that it's better than, say, like poaching or baking. Why should people with kidney issues not have more than 3 liters per day? You need to talk to your kidney specialist about that. It can be hard on your kidneys if you're having too much water. So it's really, really beneficial for your kidneys to have adequate hydration, but too much can make them work too hard. So usually less than 3 liters, you're pretty good, like 2 to 3 liters. But if you are having kidney issues, I would talk specifically to your renal doctor about how much water they are recommending for you. Okay, I think that's all the questions in here. Anybody is welcome to come on too and unmute themselves.
I have a question. So I know you said about caffeine. So in my case, I like to drink 1 large coffee, or I think Monday to Thursday, I drink a large coffee regular, and then maybe on Friday, I'll have an extra large coffee. But then sometimes I drink Pepsi also. So does that mean that I'm drinking too much caffeine?
I would say on those days that maybe that you have the extra large, then you're also having Pepsi, yes.
Oh.
So yeah, so we do, and thanks for bringing that up, because we do get caffeine from other places. So what we're looking for is kind of no more than 200 milligrams per day. Now that's lower than the limit for like general healthy adults, and that's just because of bone health. So I think it's safer to stick to 200 or less. Coffee, like 250 mils of coffee would have about 100. 1 bag of black tea would have about 50 to 80. Pepsi, like 1 can of Coke, I think it has like 120. Energy drinks can have up to like 300 per can. So yeah, I think some days you might be getting a little bit too much. Also, Pepsi and pop has phosphoric acid, which isn't great for your bones either. Turmeric. So turmeric is a really important. Did I answer that well enough? I'm hoping. Turmeric. So yeah, turmeric is a really potent antioxidant. We're finding more and more research to support it. It's generally safe to have, if you're taking a turmeric supplement, I should say that's just turmeric in a capsule. So it's basically like using the spice. Still talk to your care team to make sure, but I usually just recommend adding it to your food. You absorb it better if you're using it with black pepper. Black seed oil, I'll have to look into that one. But turmeric is really good. So part of what's going on with bone health and overall health is inflammatory process, and the turmeric can help to offset that a little bit. I'll have to look into black seed oil. I'm not sure.
She just smells. It smells.
Any other questions?
So how much turmeric?
How much
Like-
turmeric? So this is a really hard question because the research uses standardized curcuminoid measurements, which unless you're taking a supplement, it's hard to do. There is some research using 2 tablespoons of turmeric powder per day, which would be about the same as 2 tablespoons of grated turmeric root per day. However, it's really hard to know because spices aren't standardized. If you're buying, you know, President's Choice spice versus a different spice, then, you know, it's hard to know how much you're getting. And that's one reason why sometimes I do recommend turmeric supplements, because they are more standardized. But if you're looking at using the spice, it's about 2 tablespoons per day. Turmeric and black pepper are fat soluble, so you do absorb them a little bit better if you take them along with a meal that has some oil in it. So if you're doing a stir fry, if you add some black pepper, turmeric, and use olive oil, you would absorb some more.
So you can put it in your ground beef. It's really
Put
good
in your
for
ground
you.
beef. Yeah, anything that has some fat in there. If ground beef's your thing, for sure, that would help the absorption. Touch on anti-inflammatory foods. So anti-inflammatory foods, so turmeric's a really great one. Your brightly colored fruits and vegetables. So the color of fruits and vegetables are different in anti-inflammatory compounds. So some of the top ones, berries of all kinds, blueberries, I guess if I had to name a number one, anti-inflammatory berry, leafy greens, spinach, kale, onion and garlic are very anti-inflammatory. Omega-3 fats, so that's your fatty fish, walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds, and then your spices and herbs. So turmeric, we talked about. Cocoa powder is actually a good one. Just be careful, we have GERD. Cayenne pepper is a really good one as too. That's also anti-inflammatory. For the most part, they're pretty safe to eat them. Again, I wouldn't look at maybe supplementing with anti-inflammatory supplements, but if you want to get more of those foods in, that would be a really good thing to do to help with inflammation. You're very welcome. Oh, thanks. Yes, ginger is another really good anti-inflammatory herb. And I think the one recipe has ginger along with turmeric in it. Thanks for bringing that one up. Yeah, ginger is another really, really good one. It's also good for nausea. Be careful if you do have GERD. For some people, it exacerbates GERD. So nausea, pretty good for, but reflux, not great for.
So ginger root or ginger powder, like the spice, or?
Either of them.
Oh.
Either of them are good to do. Yeah, probably the root might be like a fresh root might have more anti-inflammatory compounds, but even ginger powder is a
Okay.
really good one to do. Okay, well, if you do have other questions, you will get my contact information on here. You can also look at dietitians.ca to find another dietitian. Oh, how long can you keep ginger root in the fridge or freezer? Because it is not something that's prone to foodborne illness, it's not a source of protein, basically kind of forever. I'm sure over time it would lose some of its anti-inflammatory compounds, but that is a great way to keep it fresh for longer. I usually have some that I've grated up in my freezer, and I don't have a number for you. but you're not at risk of foodborne illness with it. So I think you keep it for quite a while. Oh, thank you for asking this, Heather. So I have now I'm going to go there on Saturday and there's going to be no Arctic char left. So the fishmongers in the Western Fair Market, they are my favorite sources of fish. For those in Hamilton, you do have a wonderful farmers market as well, the Hamilton Farmers Market. I grew up going to that one, but the fishmongers out of the deep at the Western Fair Market have gorgeous Arctic char as well as great salmon. They have trout as well, which is a good source of fat too. They have fresh and frozen. Great question. Okay, so you're welcome to reach out with questions. That's our website, and then that's the Dietitians of Canada website as well. Thanks everybody for your attention, and I'm glad we made it through without baby crying, because that doesn't always happen in the evenings these days in my house.
Well, thank you, Lisa. I actually hoped we'd get a chance to meet your little one.
Well, I've asked John to keep her upstairs.
Oh,
I know, that's terrible. She was having a bit of a fuss. She's teething already, and you probably didn't want to see her in the state.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. We really, really appreciate you taking the time and fitting us into your schedule. And it's been wonderful. It's absolutely been extremely informative. And we're grateful we can post the recording. Can we share the slides as well, or what do you think is the best way?
Yeah, I'll send you a PDF
Awesome.
of the slides as well as those recipes that I mentioned.
Wonderful. I can't wait to try that one with the peanut butter. So I'm excited about that. So wonderful. So thank you so much. I think everybody got a lot out of it and the time that you took. And we really appreciate everybody being here. So I think that's it, unless anybody's got any additional, major questions. It was just great to get people together. I think we're all feeling a little bit tired of being alone, and even having these Zoom meetings has been wonderful. So great to see so many people. We've got, we had over 24 participants. Right now have 24, so wonderful attendance.
Thanks so much for organizing this.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, everyone. And please, please stay safe. We know the mask mandate is coming off, but, be safe. That's certainly we want everybody to stay healthy as we transition into the next new stage of this pandemic. But take care, and I think we're going to end the meeting. So thank you
so much for inviting everybody.
Thanks, Jules. It's great to see you again.
All right, then.
And take care, everyone.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Lisa and Lisa.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy to remember that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Oh, I see Lenore and Ray. I didn't see you earlier. Nice to see you. Bye, Trudy. Bye, Dawn.
Bye-bye.
Lisa, thank you.
It's Romper Room that it makes me think of, Lisa. You mentioned Brady Bunch.
Yes.
And they never named people Heather when I was watching, but my husband, John, there was always John or Johnny. So he was like, he talks about it being a good program.
It is true. It is true. I remember Romper Room. Oh my goodness. Flashbacks. Well, it was so nice to get so many people tonight. That was just wonderful. So,
yeah.
And let's hope we can get together again. But I think, we've got people from all over, which is really exciting. Really exciting. So.
Well done.
Yes. Thanks, guys.
Copy a hug from us.
What's that, Trudy?
Give your puppy a hug from us.
Oh, yeah. He's still sound asleep. And you know what he'll do, Trudy? When I take him to bed, he'll like, okay, where's my toy? I need to go out. I need to sniff her. Oh, he's looking at me. See, he knows. Have a great night. Hope to see you all in person soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.